video, I'm going to be showing you how you can build a transparent login form using HTML and CSS. I'm also going to be walking you through creating a transparent sign up form also. What's up guys? Welcome back to Dev Support Global. Before we jump in and get started, here's something to consider. If a tricky bug, deployment issue, or skill gap is threatening to derail your project or even cost you a client or opportunity, I'm here to help. I offer 60-minute one-on-one sessions where we focus entirely on the issue holding you back. Whether it's a stubborn CSS layout, a broken API call, or any other roadblock. Think of it as having a senior developer right beside you to bridge that skill gap and keep your project on track. If that sounds like what you need, click the book a call link in the description. Otherwise, let's jump straight in. You can see on my screen right now is a Figma design of the transparent sign up and login form that we are going to be building in this video. To get started, let's go ahead and open up our favorite IDE, and inside our IDE we are going to create a new file. Let's create a new file called login.html. Now that we've created our login.html file, let's go ahead and fill this with a template. Let's type in HTML document. Let's go ahead and set a title, set that to login. Let's also open a style block for our CSS. Taking a look at our Figma design, we can see that our page has a background image and a background color. Let's go ahead and first set in the background color. So the background color is this. Let's copy that, go over here in our style block for the body tag. Let's set the background color to the color we just copied. For some visual context, let's go ahead and preview our login.html file so we see what's going on. To preview, we just need to right click and click on where it says show preview. Now we can see that the color of our background has been changed to the color that we set. The next thing we want to do is to set in the background image like we can see in the design. So let's click more and let's export this image. After exporting it, you need to go ahead and import it into the workspace that we are working in. Let's rename this to BG. Go back to login.html. In the body CSS block, create a new line, add background image, URL, and bg.png. We can now see that the background image has updated here. For some extra styling, let's go ahead and add a background size. Set it to cover, background repeat, no repeat. Set a mean height 100 VH so the image takes up the whole screen. Let's expand this and we can see that it looks just like what we have in our Figma design. The next thing we need to do is to go ahead and start building our form. In the body, let's create a new form tag. Inside our form tag, let's create a new div tag, give it a class called form field. Let's write in a label. Let's give it an ID of email. Email address is the content. Pass in an input. Type email. Let's make it required so the form cannot be submitted until an email is provided. Give it an ID of email. Let's go ahead and duplicate this for our password. Change this to password. The type, change it to password. Change the ID to password and the label to password. Let's go ahead and create a button, give it a type of submit, and call it login. We also have a heading. Let's call this heading. Put in h1, call this welcome back. Put in a p tag for the description. Call this enter your credentials to access your account. Let's go ahead and create a new container. Copy all of this into this, so in the layout it's separated and in now different blocks. And then we want to add a CTA to sign up. Come here, give a p tag. This is an a tag. Let's say sign up.html sign up. Let's also wrap this to in a container. Now that we've put in all the HTML elements, let's go ahead and start styling it. We're going to start from our form fields. So our form fields, we have a placeholder color of this, a background color of this, and a border of this. So let's go ahead and style it. So we're going to create a dot form field and tag input. Hovering on this, you can see that it says element, class, form field, and input. This is literally targeting any element with the class of form field that also has an input tag as one of its children. So let's go ahead and give this a background of white, a border of 1px solid, this color of this. Let's also target placeholders and also give the placeholders a color of this. We also have some padding. let's go ahead and give our input field some padding. So padding 10px. There's also some border radius. Let's go ahead and give it a border radius. Let's say 10px. Let's add in some placeholders. Let's call this enter your email, and for the password just a bunch of stars. So looking at our preview, you can see that our color for the placeholder wasn't set in how we wanted it, and I'm sure that's because of this. So let's just go ahead and bring this out. Dot form field, input, and this, and now we can see that our colors have been applied to both our placeholder and the content when you're writing. The next thing we want to do is to style our labels. Let's go ahead and style our labels. They have a color of white. Dot form field, label, color white. Let's give it a font weight of 500, a font size of 14px. The next thing we want to do is to go ahead and style our form field. Dot form field, give display of flex direction column, and let's give you a gap of 10px. I think 10px is too much. 0. There's actually no gap. Let's go ahead and style our heading text. They are both white. Let's first put that in. Let's say dot heading. Let's just give everything a color of white. Let's also give it some layout. Display flex direction column. We can see some space here, and that's because the h1 tag has some margin on its top and bottom. Let's go ahead and remove that. Give it a margin 0. Same as the p tag. So let's just do this. Yeah. Now we want to give it a gap. Let's give it a gap of 10px. Let's look at what's here actually. 10px. Now let's go ahead and style our actual form. Give this a display flex direction column, and then a gap of 30px. Now that I've done that, let's style our form content. Let's give this div a class of form content. Then we have dot form content. Give it a display of flex direction column gap 10px. Now that we've done that, let's go ahead and style our login button. Let's give our button a class of submit btn. Go back to our style block. Dot submit button. Let's give it a color of this. Give it a border of 1px solid. Give it a width of 100%. Some padding 10px. Border radius 10px. Background color white. The next thing we want to do is to style the signup CTA. Before we do that, let's go ahead and increase the gap between the form content. Let's make it 22 pixels. That looks much better now. To style this CTA, let's go ahead and scroll down to this div that houses the CTA. Let's give it a class of form actions. Go back to our style block. Dot form actions PA, and give it color of white. In our design, we have the CTA at the center, so let's move that to the center. Have text align center, and that pushes it to the center. Now before we go ahead and start styling the actual transparent background like we have here in the design, one thing to point out is that the fonts in the design and the fonts in what we are building don't yet look the same. So let's fix that first. So the fonts we are going to be using is Poppins. You can get it for free at fonts.google.com. Click on get fonts, click on get embed code. We're going to copy this link, come here and paste it in. Go over to our body and set a font family of Poppins and set sans serif as the fallback. Looking at our preview, you can see that the fonts now match the font in our design. Now let's go ahead and continue with our transparent background. We are going to go over to our form styling in our style block and do backdrop filter blur 20px. Next thing we want to do is to put in a border radius of 100% and also put in some padding. Let's put in a padding of 100 pixels. Next, we're gonna give it a box shadow. And now looking at our preview, we can now see that we have completed our login form. Now that we're done with our login form, the next thing we have to work on is our sign up form. Our sign up form is going to be very simple because it is just our login form with a form for full name. To get started on our sign up form, let's copy our entire code in our login form, create a new file, call it signup.html, paste it in, change the title to sign up, and let's change here to already have an account, sign in, and here to /login.html. We're going to also introduce an extra field and call this full name. Change the placeholder to enter your full name. The type is now text and the ID is full name. Let's also update the ID in the label. Next thing we need to change is the heading text. Here changes to create a new account and the subtext changes to enter your credentials to create an account. Now that we're done with all of that, let's go ahead and take a look and see what our sign up form now looks like. So we can do that by opening a preview or by just clicking here that says sign up. We can now see that our sign up form has now taken shape. Although one thing we forgot to change is the button. Let's just go ahead and change that button to sign up. Now what happens when we try to submit this form? If we click on sign up, it prompts us to fill in the full name, and if we fill in the full name, click again, it prompts us to fill in our email. If we put in any random email, it tells us to include an @ in the email address. If we put in everything correctly, it then asks us for a password. It is doing all of this because of the required attribute that we put in every input field. If we go over to the sign in page and we try to submit, the same thing happens. One more thing I want to point out is the fact that if we expand this, the form just expands end to end, and that doesn't really look good on larger screens. So to fix this, what we need to do, let's minimize this first, is to come to the form styling block. Let's give it a max width of 400 pixels. Now we see that when we zoom, okay, I think we are editing the signup.html. So if we go over to signup.html, we can see that when we expand this, it no longer stretches to the end of the screen. Giving it a fixed width, push the form to one side of the screen. So we are going to centralize this. Let's go ahead and centralize this form. We have margin 0 auto, and that puts our form at the center. To reflect these changes in the login, we just need to come to the login and paste it in. Now when we click on the sign in, we see that our CSS has been updated, and when we drag this, our form stays at the center. And that's literally everything you need to know about building your own transparent login and sign up form. If you liked and enjoyed this content so far, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also turn on post notifications so that you're notified whenever we post more amazing content like this one. Also consider supporting Dev Support Global's work with a few dollars. Your support means a lot to us, and it literally keeps the lights on here at Dev Support Global. Until next time, happy coding.